Okay. Welcome back, everybody. Air Force One has just landed at SeaTac Airport. The president has arrived from an earlier stop today in Portland.
And you can see from this picture, we are expecting him to arrive any moment now. Left Portland International Airport about 15 or 20 minutes late, but was able to make up that time.
Sebastian Robertson's there on the tarmac where many dignitaries, including the governor, are there to greet the president. Let's get to Sebastian Robertson live to find out what we can expect throughout the day. Sebastian?
Hi, Joyce. Plans are underway to welcome the president here at SeaTac. Air Force One touchdown just a couple of minutes ago. As you watched live on King 5, our cameras were there capturing that. And for such a large aircraft, such a large and impressive 747-200, it almost seemed like it touched down quietly here, as all you could hear was the cameras snapping as it touched down, making that approach from the north to SeaTac. That temporary flight restriction was in place, so no other aircraft were in the air for just a couple of minutes. There will be dignitaries waiting to greet the president once he gets off the aircraft. We're told that the Governor Inslee and his wife, as well as the mayor of SeaTac and the mayor of Seattle, will be the three government officials waiting to greet Joe Biden. Details on what happens next are being kept a little bit under wraps, but safe to assume he will get in some sort of motorcade as he works his way towards a private fundraiser in Seattle.
Sebastian, we do know he's here ahead of Earth Day, and we're hearing about two different things that he's going to talk about tomorrow, potentially two different orders, one involving an event at Seward Park and also dealing with the environment, another about pharmaceuticals. What can you tell us about that?
Well, the president is really on a tour of the Northwest. As you can see, he started in Portland, where he talked about the importance of critical infrastructure as he tries to pitch his plan. I believe you can see Air Force One kind of coming up over the horizon here as they taxi to the ramp here with Secret Service agents waiting to marshal in the massive 747. Tomorrow, the president and his staff have a full day ahead of him. We are told there will be some form of executive order regarding old growth forest protections. That's tomorrow. We're also expecting a policy speech on prescription drug prices. The president will also take advantage of being in the Northwest to do some fundraising. There'll be a few private fundraisers he's expected to attend here. And as Air Force One kind of creeps its way to the taxi ramp here, a little bit of rain is falling as we wait for the plane to clear the active runway and work its way over to parking.
Sebastian, you have a much better view than we do. We have a nice tight shot of Air Force One coming in right now, but as you're there and you're looking around, kind of give us a sense of what you're seeing, what the welcoming party looks like. I know you discussed it a little bit, but what are we going to see here over the next 10 minutes or so as the plane finishes its taxiing and gets set, and then the president deplanes there and gets in the motorcade?
Well, you know, anybody that travels in and out of SeaTac knows how busy this international airport can be. Right now, as we just get a little bit of rainfall, it is a dead stop at SeaTac. The only aircraft on the runway, on the ramps, is Air Force One. That is, of course, very purposefully done. As a large perimeter of Secret Service, as well as local police, Seattle police, military on the ground here to make sure everything goes smoothly here. We are expecting to see some sort of, pageantry, perhaps, for lack of a better word, as Air Force One will pull in. We expect the president to work his way down the ramp and shake hands. We're told that those three people that I mentioned, the mayor of Seattle, mayor of SeaTac, and the governor will be the only three dignitaries on the ramp. And, it's raining, so expect kind of a brisk walk to the motorcade, where the president will then get into the limo and work his way to the next location.
Such a classic Northwest welcome with the weather, a little bit of drizzle and gray skies. So this is the first visit for President Biden since he was elected, appropriately ahead of Earth Day, since these executive orders we expect him to sign tomorrow deal with the environment in part, protecting mature trees reportedly. And that will happen at Seward Park, also another beautiful location here in Seattle. I wish we could see the dignitaries that have gathered there. We do know the airspace is around the president's plane is closed for now, and also the traffic during rush hour is going to be impacted pretty severely.
Just to give our viewers an understanding, we don't have free reign to wander around. Our photographer and Sebastian can't just go anywhere. There's a very specific place where they have to be and can only get limited viewing, so they kind of have to wait for the plane and the president, if you will, to come to them. As you see, it just made that corner and pulling closer and is getting louder. And until those engines shut down, it's going to be hard while you're there to hear much of anything. Sebastian, I don't know if you can hear me yet, but as it gets closer, you can see just how big that 747 is.
Sebastian,
It would be hard to overstate the scale of this. Yeah, I was just saying it would be hard to express how large this aircraft is. It is the 747-200B. It is a Boeing-made 747, highly modified, just really a feat of American aviation here. And of course, when it is carrying the President of the United States, it goes by that famous call sign Air Force One. And we can see here as the Secret Service agents are the ones that are actually marshaling the aircraft to its final position here. And we will watch the stop box be put up here, and they'll begin unloading the aircraft in just a few moments here as the ramp rolls up. And momentarily, we should see those dignitaries work their way to the aircraft.
Stand by if you can, Sebastian, because I-90 is shut down. Shantae, what can you tell us about the roads as we watch this live picture and wait for the president to get off the plane here?
Right now, those westbound lanes on I-90 are shut down. And moments ago, I could have showed you, but now those cameras are black at the moment. WashDOT has been turning off cameras along I-5 between South Center and Seattle, and now I-90 as well. But what I can say is right by Rainier Avenue, you see 4 vehicles blocking all of those lanes. So for those of you who may be traveling out from the east side, just know you can't travel on I-90 at the moment. 520 does appear to still be open. Here's a look at the backup, though, approaching Rainier on I-90. This is out in the tunnel, so you can see a lot of folks hitting those brake lights. I also saw a lot of people trying to get off of I-90 at that Rainier exit. So again, if you are traveling from the east side, 520 does appear to still be open. Those eastbound lanes on I-90 appear to still be open as well. Downtown Seattle, we're still dealing with a lot of closures, especially near the west end on the 5th Avenue, where President Biden is expected to be staying. So you'll see closures on 5th Avenue between Lenore Street, Olive Way, and Westlake Avenue. Also portions of Denny Way, 4th Avenue, Lenora, Virginia, and Pine Streets blocked as well. So you're going to be dealing with a lot of congestion coming into the Seattle area. We are seeing that congestion now on I-90. 520 is backed up as well. Especially it's going to get worse as folks try to avoid I-90, and those temporary closures on I-5, I imagine, will start any minute now. So I'll get some more information on that. If you are heading out, Highway 99 will probably be your best option. Usually when we get different dignitaries or presidential visits, we usually see a lot of folks take Pacific Highway to avoid that. So far, it's still clear there, but if you are heading to the Mariners game today, we know that starts at 6:40. Public transit would be your best option. Also expect some of those routes to be rerouted on Sound Transit as well as King County Metro. Go ahead and check those rider alerts, because as you can see, a lot of routes will be affected, and that will go on until 4 p.m. tomorrow.
Thank you, Shantae. Let's take again this full live picture. The president's about to get off Air Force One, which has just arrived from Portland, a little bit ahead of schedule, earlier than we were expecting it to. He's going to be getting into a motorcade heading to downtown Seattle. And the roads, as Shantae said, are going to be shut down while that motorcade is in progress. Also on a game day when a lot of folks have gathered at T-Mobile Park.
They gave a nice little buffer there. They'd planned 50 minutes for that flight. It was supposed to leave, I believe, at 4:25 from Portland and arrive here at 5:15. They left there about 4:45, so almost 20 minutes late. But it took them, about a half an hour to actually get here. We saw them touch down right at about 11 or 12 minutes after. So kind of pulling in right as they scheduled. And now he's going to have to deal with the the rainy Pacific Northwest. Tonight, not a whole lot of fanfare. The most interesting part is probably shutting down all the freeways, and that's the biggest impact we're going to see for people. There is a Democratic fundraising event that he'll be at tonight that is closed to the press, and then tomorrow for Earth Day are those big events that we've been talking about.
Yeah, you might be wondering, why is he here ahead of Earth Day? And we were listening to Chris Daniels reporting earlier that there is a morning event that's reportedly going to involve that executive order that he's going to sign at Seattle Seward Park, reportedly to direct the federal government to catalog and protect mature trees and also those at risk from wildfires and climate change. And then he's expected to go to Green River Community College, where unfortunately it's not going to be open to the public. Tickets are just not available for that, but he's expected there to focus on prescription drug costs. And so two big events really planned for here in the Northwest during his stop ahead of what is a big deal around the Northwest, which is Earth Day. But again, his first trip here to the Northwest since he was elected, and dignitaries there, including Governor Jay Inslee and others on the tarmac to greet him.
Fitting there should be a little bit of rain here a day ahead of Earth Day for spring in the Northwest. And we should see the president coming through that door here momentarily. The question is, how long will he spend actually on the tarmac before he hops into the motorcade and is whisked away, because they are on a very tight schedule and places to be. There you see.
There he is.
Should get a wave here momentarily, come down and shake some hands, and then he will be gone fairly quickly, depending on how much rain that is. Sebastian, what are you seeing out there right now?
Well, Joyce, you can see President Biden off the plane, just shook hands with Governor Inslee. We're told that Bruce Harrell, the mayor of Seattle, in the line of dignitaries, as well as the mayor of SeaTac, all three of them with their spouses, as well as President Joe Biden gets a nice rainy welcome. And right as I say that, a little bit of sun poking through these northwest clouds as Joe Biden and Air Force One making the very quick trip from Portland to Seattle. That's the beauty of being the President of the United States. You don't have to worry about other commercial aircraft as it's likely cleared direct into Seattle.
You can see him there on the tarmac. We saw Mayor Bruce Harrell and Joanne Harrell there on the tarmac, and you said also the mayor of SeaTac, along with Governor Jay Inslee. I could not tell if his wife was there with him, but fitting that there would be dignitaries there to greet President Joe Biden in his first trip here to the Northwest. Again, this motorcade is going to make its way from SeaTac into downtown Seattle. Roads are going to be blocked off. There are the two mayors there with their spouses. And the roads are going to be blocked off, even though it is a game day. Obviously, the president taking precedent in terms of security. And Erica Zucco, we talked to her earlier. She is down in the downtown area where the president's going to be staying. So that is going to be something that's going to be a process that will take a few minutes, half an hour or so.
I would think most of the people who are coming down for the Mariners game, I think it's got an earlier start tonight. I want to say it's 6 o'clock instead of the 6:40 start we'd seen. That they had already gotten there and are ready and have beat this traffic, but you never know. This will be a pretty quick trip down, I'm assuming, Interstate 5. We don't know for sure because they don't give us that, but all the traffic cameras have been blocked out at this point.